Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this live section. Guys, if you're new to that channel or if you're new to this channel, a Dim News TV, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. Guys, stay with me. I have a lot to tell you guys. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu drags Reno Omokri to court, demands 60 billion naira compensation. This is serious. So now let me now tell you that there are, last week or a few weeks ago, Omokri, in fact, Omokri, Reno Omokri is this person that have been dragging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, saying a lot of things about him, even the ones he doesn't know, saying he has evidence of, where Kanu was ordering for violence. Or the point is, if you have this evidence, why have you not come to court? Kanu has been in court for how many years now? In fact, he has been in detention for how many years now? So if you have this kind of evidence, why have you not gone to court to testify against Kanu? So you're just coming. That's to tell you what these people are doing. Anyways, let's continue. Like I said, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sues Reno Omokri for defamation, and then they demanded 60 billion naira compensation. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has launched a strong legal action against Reno Omokri for alleged defamatory statements against him, IPOB and Ndibo. Then he demands a retraction, public apology, and damages. Others should take note. If the Aloy Ejimako, announced this, and then he warned others, there are also making a lot of making statements like this to take note, that they should be warned. So now let's talk about what Omokri said. We're going to, in this live section, I'll tell you everything Omokri said. Do you know one thing about these Tinubu's how will I put it, Tinubu's officials or Tinubu's APC members or Tinubu's allies? Yes, let me put it that way, because Omokri is one of them. One thing about them is they come out, because would I say they pay them to come and vomit nonsense. How can Omokri come out and say that he has an evidence of when Kanu or IPOB was doing this? Guys, I'm going to tell you everything Omokri said, and then you will see that none of these people, guys, remember that no civilian, when they finish that DSS witness, no civilian, no soldier has come out to say that Kanu did this thing to his or her family members. No civilian, no soldier has come out to say anything about Kanu, saying that Kanu did something. Guys, in this live session, I'll tell you what Omokri said about Kanu. Now, on July 6th, 2025, Reno Omokri posted on his verified X Twitter account that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB were allegedly, responsible for the killings of Nigerian soldiers. This is what Omokri said. And then Nigerian soldiers, police officers, custom, immigration, NSCDC personnel, and others in the southeast, attributing many of these deaths to IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and unknown gunmen. This is what Omokri said. So on the 6th of July 2025, Omokri, accused Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, even in the Igbo, accuse them of being responsible, allegedly being responsible of the killings of Nigerian soldiers, police officers, customs, immigration, NSCDC personnel, and others in the southeast, attributing many of these deaths to IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and unknown government. That was one of the things that Omokri said, Reno Omokri. And then secondly, Reno Omokri said, in fact, he specifically questioned that, do you know how many Nigerian soldiers, police officers, custom, immigration, and prison officers, as well as the NSCDC servicemen and women have been killed by IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and unknown government in the southeast, of which the majority has been the northern Nigeria? This is what Reno Omokri questioned. This is the question he asked. And then he further characterized the plaintiff and IPOB has engaging in the terrorist activities, accusing them of operating in the Eastern Security Network without a lawful justification or evidence. Now, why this triggered legal action? Kanu's legal team argues these claims are false, baseless, and prejudicial and defamatory, alleging that the statement has harmed his reputation, exposed him to public contempt, and prejudiced his ongoing court proceedings in Abuja. Now, according to what Kanu said, he said this statement by Reno now has cost him a lot. Yes, you can imagine, he's going through court proceedings in Abuja, and Reno came to say this kind of thing. According to the lawsuit filed in Enugu High Court, no court in Nigeria has convicted Kanu of any offense involving killings or terrorism as of date. He made those statements, making Omokri's claim allegedly, malicious and reckless. This is what Kanu said. So as when Reno said that thing, no court in Nigeria has convicted Kanu of any offense. No court has convicted. Imagine, no court. In fact, for even his ongoing trial, they have not yet convicted him of any crime. He's still innocent. So all these things Omokri is saying are just baseless. It's not true. Is not true. So now the main accusation of Reno Omokri, he accused Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB Eastern Security Network of killing Nigerian security operative. And then he also said Omokri posted a historical question highlighting what he claims is the hypocrisy of certain Igbo leaders who, according to him, don't speak out against IPOB Eastern Security killings but condemns other issue. Now, let's go into details. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for joining my channel. So now, we're going to talk about, the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, popularly known as IPOB. He has filed a powerful lawsuit against a well-known Nigerian commentator, Reno Omokri. In this video, I will break down exactly what Reno Omokri said. Now, why is it that Reno Omokri cannot just focus on his job? Why is it that Reno Omokri cannot focus on his job? Why are they all fighting, effortlessly to suppress one man's voice, which is Kanu? Why? Look at the projects that's that's the Calabar Lagos highway, whatever. Guys, I thought that they will concentrate on that job. How many years of Tinubu? Reno Omokri could only, this is the only Reno Omokri and Tinubu could only present 30% kilometer, which is not even complete. According to people that went there, they said it was not even complete. He said he has evidence when he doesn't have evidence. You have evidence, you can't even come to court to testify. You had it, now you're trying to say you have any evidence. Now let me now tell you that no court has convicted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of any crime. No court at all. Kanu is innocent. So now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has gone ahead to file a powerful lawsuit against a well-known Nigerian commentator, Reno Omokri. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what Reno said, why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's team called it defamation, what this means to IPOB for Ndibo, and why everyone, especially people who throw careless words online, should pay close attention, because it could be anyone tomorrow. Because as it stands, Reno Omokri is in a serious trouble, because you cannot just come out and say what you don't know just to silence or silence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So first, who is this Reno Omokri? Reno Omokri is a former aide to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan. He's now an activist and very vocal commentator on social media. He calls himself a human rights fighter, indeed. But this time, he may have stepped on the wrong toes. Yes. A few weeks ago, Reno Omokri made a post on his verified Twitter or X handle. He basically accused Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB of being behind the killings of Nigerian security personnel in the southeast. In his words, Reno said, "Do you know how many Nigerian soldiers, police officers, custom, immigration, and prison officers, as well as the NSCDC servicemen and women, have been killed by IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and unknown gunmen in the southeast?" This is the question that Reno asks, accusing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of killing the security agents. Now, this is not a small thing to say. He's directly calling IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and by extension, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, killers of uniformed men. He tied IPOB to unknown gunmen, a name for unidentified armed group blamed for attack in the East. So this is why this had to lead to, this was how it lead to, that was why they had to drag him to court, because what he did is very wrong by, linking IPOB to an unknown gunman. Imagine. So what is he trying to say? That these unknown gunmen people are IPOB? Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, this is a pure defamation, because till today, no court in Nigeria. This is purely a defamation, because no court in Nigeria has convicted Kanu of any terrorism or murder. Yes, he is facing charges related to treason, but nobody has proven it in court. He's facing charges on terrorism, but nobody, no civilian, no soldier has proved this fact in court. Even the kind DSS witness that said Kanu is a terrorist cannot even prove. Kanu is facing charges related to treason, but nobody has proven it in court that he or IPOB killed any soldier, police officers, or anyone else. So, according to Kanu's lawyer, Reno's post was reckless, dangerous, and outright false. They say it was meant to, damage his name, put IPOB in the same box as terrorist group, because what Reno did was like to link IPOB to a terrorist group, which is not true, and poison the minds of Nigerians and the world against the Biafran struggle. Now, to a lot of people, this isn't just about Kanu. It's about the image of the entire Igbo people, the Ndi Igbo. Because when you paint IPOB as bloodthirsty terrorists without evidence, it gives the government a green light to crack down violently on innocent people too. So what is Kanu asking for now? He's not even joking at all. He wants Reno to, number one, publicly withdraw the statement, issue a full apology, and pay a huge demand. Guys, like the report says it's 60 billion naira. This is the things that, Kanu wants Reno to do. Number one is to, publicly withdraw the statement, issue a full apology, and pay a huge damages. Report says it's up to 60 billion naira. This legal action was filed in the High Court in Enugu under suit number E/1034/2025. To Kanu's camp, this is about sending a clear message. If you lie against him, IPOB, or the Biafran struggle, you will pay. All these people that are saying nonsense about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, saying that they're terrorists, this is a warning to all of you. This is a great warning to all of you. Now, let me break down into simple things so that you can understand. In Nigeria today, social media is a battlefield. Politicians, activists, and the so-called influencers say many things to win clout or to chase clout, to push an agenda. But when you say a person or group is a terrorist or a murderer without evidence or court conviction, that's not freedom of speech. That's defamation. I don't know if you are getting me. In Nigeria today, people use social media, to talk about what's going on in Nigeria. Some use it to defame people, some use it to chase clout, some push an agenda. But when you come out and you say a person or a group is a terrorist without, or a murderer without an evidence, or without any court conviction, that's not freedom at all. That's not freedom of speech. That is defamation. If you're wrong, you can ruin a person's life. You can't get people jailed, killed, or hunted down unfairly. It's not possible. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legal action is saying enough is enough. If you must talk, you must talk with facts. If you accuse someone, prove it in court, not on Twitter. Why is Reno going to Twitter? Why is he going to Twitter to post nonsense? If he knows he's right, he should come to court and drag it with Kanu, not going to Twitter to talk what he doesn't know. And for IPOB and the Biafra movement, this is bigger than just one man or one man's reputation. It's about controlling the narrative. For years, many voices have tried to paint every agitation in this East as violent and criminal, ignoring the root issue, which is marginalization, injustice, and broken promises by Nigerian state. The Reno Omokri want to come and silence the Igbos. They want to see agitation in the southeast as violent and and criminal. They are ignoring what's led. Did Igbos come out, wake up one morning to start agitating? Something happened. Something made them to agitate, which is the marginalization, the injustice, and the broken promises by Nigerian states to the east. Yes, Igbos are being persecuted. They're being treated like last class citizens. That is why they started agitating. So this lawsuit is also a statement. The pen and the tongue are weapons. Use them wisely or face the consequences. Reno should take note. He should come out publicly and withdraw the statement, issue a full apology, and then pay a huge amount of money, which is 60 billion naira. You think IPOB are here to joke with you? How can you just come out on Twitter and just say what you don't know and you think you can go free like that? You have evidence that Kanu did. Okay, how can you just come out without evidence and say that Kanu killed uniformed men without evidence? You cannot go to court and drag it. You're coming to Twitter to post for what to happen. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legal team is saying enough is enough. If you must talk facts, if you accuse someone, prove it in court, not on Twitter. So now let's see what will happen next. Reno Omokri will have to defend himself in court. Will he stand by his word? Will he apologize, or will he drag on for years? One thing is very clear. Careless talk comes with a price, and if Kanu wins this case, it could set a big example for anyone who thinks they can defame people and walk away freely. That is just it. So now let's be honest. No, let's be honest now. Reno Omokri is not a stranger to controversies like this. He has made a name for himself online by jumping into every trending issue. That's one thing with Reno Omokri. Sometimes he says useful things, but too often he plays to the gallery, talking without verifying facts just to get retweets and headlines. But when you cross the line for options to defamation, or when you cross the line from opinions to defamation, especially in a sensitive region like the Southeast, where lives are already at risk, you're not just being careless, you're fanning flames that can cost more lives. Omokri claims that IPOB and Eastern Security Network are responsible for every killing in the East. It's not backed by any court judgment. That his claims that IPOB and Eastern Security Network are responsible for every killing in the East is not backed by any court judgment. It's not backed by any official investigative report. It's just his opinion, typed from his phone. He posted it on Twitter. But the damage it does, the damage it does is real. Here is what makes it worse. Reno Omokri himself lives abroad. He's not the one facing army checkpoints, DSS rats, or even random arrests in Igbo land. He's not the one whose name will land on the watch list because of what he retweeted. Yet, from the safety of his foreign base, he plays judge, jury, and executioner, labeling an entire movement as terrorists, and by extension, labeling millions of Igbo youths are criminals. So Omokri is saying that all IPOB are criminals, they are responsible for killing policemen in the East. This Omokri will not talk about the things going on in Igbo land. I mean the Boko Haram, how they are, what these Boko Haram people are doing, what these headers are doing in Ebonyi. He will not talk about it though. He will not retweet that. But it's what that did not happen. He doesn't even have evidence, his opinion. That is what he's coming out to post on Twitter. And it's not fair. It is not fair at all. If he has real evidence that Kanu or IPOB ordered killing, why not present it to Nigerian court or the International Criminal Court? Why run to Twitter? Because it is easier to throw accusations online than to stand in court and defend your claims under oath. Let's not forget the hypocrisy. Reno Omokri always says he fights for human rights and justice, but when it comes to the East, he echoes the same old government propaganda that every agitation is violent, that the people are bloodthirsty. He says nothing about the root cause, the same marginalization, the same injustice, the same killings by security forces that fuels groups like IPOB in the first place. He never mentions the hundreds of unarmed IPOB supporters killed during peaceful protests. He never mentions the illegal detention of Biafra agitators who has been convicted of any crime, but he's quick to label them terrorists online. Why? Because it gets him clicks, views, and applause from those who benefit from that false narrative. So if you're listening to people like Reno Omokri, be careful. Ask yourself, where is the evidence? Why does he speak so boldly online but never stands in court to testify? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawsuit is not just about his name. It's about setting a standard. If you lie, if you defame, you will face the consequences. This should serve as a warning to all political commentators, influencers, and social media warriors. Words are powerful. If you can't prove it, don't say it at all. Now, Reno Omokri has turned himself into a professional critic. Every week he jumps on trending headline, Boko Haram, Tinubu, Atiku, Biafra. But what happens when he pins fake crimes on IPOB or Mazi Kanu? The real cost falls on innocent Igbo youths who get profiled, arrested, and even shot at checkpoints because the government labeled them terrorists. A lie his words helps fuel. He lives comfortably abroad, but the young men in Aba, Olu, and Enugu can't walk freely because of the reckless propaganda he helps to push. If Reno truly cared about peace in the southeast, he would ask the hard question: why did IPOB rise up in the first place? What happened to the promises of restructuring? Why are peaceful protests meant with bullets? Why are agitators locked up for years without trial, but instead of addressing the fire's cause, he focuses only on the smoke, pointing fingers at Kanu and IPOB for violence without acknowledging what triggered the anger in the first place? He uses a dangerous double standard. When armed Fulani herdsmen commit atrocities, we don't see Reno write long threads blaming a whole ethnic group for it. When bandits in the north kill entire villages, he never labels any northerner terrorist. But for IPOB, one blanket statement, they are all killers. This double standard is exactly what fuels distrust among regions. It's selective outrage. It comforts one side and demonizes others. Another thing is, if Reno Omokri truly believes IPOB are terrorists and Kanu is a killer, why don't he file a petition with the International Criminal Court? Why doesn't he appear as a witness in Kanu's trial to give solid evidence? Because he knows repeating government allegations on Twitter is easy. But proving them under cross-examination is another thing entirely. He won't stand in court because he has no evidence, only slogan. Statements like Reno don't just damage Kanu's name. They empower the same security agencies accused of human rights abuses in the East. When a loud voice says IPOB are killers, the government can say, look, even Reno agrees. And that's because the excuse of roadblock, torture, disappearance, and mass arrest in the end, it's not Reno or his children who pays for these lies. It's ordinary families in the Igbo land. Reno will say he stands for the truth and freedom, but whose freedom does he really protect? Whose freedom does he really protect? When the NSAS protests were crushed, he cashed in with hashtag. When Chibok girls were kidnapped, he made it his brand. Now, when the East faces unique suffering, he uses IPOB as a scapegoat, not to resolve problems, but to stay relevant. Real activism brings solution, not insult or hashtags that destroys reputation. This lawsuit should be a lesson for other so-called public figures who think freedom of speech means freedom means freedom to slander. There's a difference between criticism and defamation. Criticism is fair game, but defamation has a price. You can't just open your mouth and call someone a terrorist when no court has said so. If you're so sure, show your evidence or keep quiet. It's very simple. Reno Omokri sits in the comfort of foreign hotels and uses Twitter to call an entire group of people IPOB and by extension millions of Igbo killers and terrorists. He does not even live in the southeast. He does not even stand in the middle of Enugu or Olu, where young boys get stopped, arrested, or shot because of this same terrorist label he carelessly repeats. His reckless word false profiling. They give security forces an excuse to harass, rad, and even kill innocent Igbo youths. All why, because of his tweets. Freedom and democracy from London and America. Omokri is not speaking the truth to power. He's adding fuel to the fire that burns his own people while hiding far away. That's cowardice, not even activism. When bandits in the north kill thousands of people, Reno calls it insecurity. When killer herdsmen wipe out villages in Benue, even in southern Kaduna, he blames bad leadership or poor security. But when there's any violence in the east, he instantly brands the entire IPOB as terrorists and links them with unknown gunmen. even though the government itself hasn't produced solid evidence linking them. This is not honesty. It's selective condemnation. He picks when to shout terrorist and when to stay silent, depending on whose pain he can milk for attention. It is easy to type IPOB killed soldiers, but where is Reno's proof? You cannot just come and talk. If you don't have proof, you just keep quiet. Has he submitted names, videos, or even confession? Has he gone to court as a witness? No. He treats accusation with the confidence of a judge. But when it is time to prove it in court of law, he disappears. Reno has never for once come to court to prove anything to Kanu that he's a terrorist or anything. He should dare it now. He doesn't have an evidence. All they do is to come out and talk so that people can see Kanu as a terrorist, so that international voice can see him as a terrorist when he's not. Why are they, trying to silence this man? Because they know that he's saying the truth. Reno loves to insert himself into every Nigerian tragedy. Boko Haram, Chibok girls, NSAS, herdsmen, IPOB, everything becomes content for his hashtag and self-promotion. He writes book, give interview, and monetize the pain of others. Yet, when it's time to genuinely help, you don't see him in courtroom defending victims or funding community support. You only see him in Twitter saying what he doesn't know. He's not a freedom fighter. He's an opportunist. That's who Reno is. He feeds on conflicts, but risks nothing on his own. By branding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as a murderer and IPOB as a terrorist online, why no Nigerian court has ever convicted, no Nigerian court, both outside Nigeria and within, has never convicted, they have not even convicted Kanu of any crime. When it poisons the public mind, this creates, prejudice, making it harder for Kanu to get a fair trial or a fair hearing. It shapes public opinion before a judge even looks at the facts. If Omokri cared about the law, he would respect due process. But he wants to play judge, jury, and executioner on Twitter. When Reno Omokri lumps IPOB, Eastern Security Network, and unknown government together, because according to what Reno said, he linked IPOB and unknown government together. When he does this, he insults millions of Igbo people who genuinely believe in self-determination, which is a right under international law. You cannot tell me otherwise. He ignores their grievance, the marginalization, the economic strangulation, the brutal crackdowns. Instead of addressing this, instead of addressing these things by getting solution, he rubs salt in the wound with careless insults and half-baked analysis for likes and clout. Okay. Why is Reno even coming out to say this kind of thing to? Do you know what Reno said to Kanu? This is a great defamation. How can Reno say that Kanu has been the one killing policemen in the southeast? Does it even make sense? So this thing that we are hearing that headers or these bad terrorists, Fulani headers ambushed soldiers and by them. Okay, I want to ask Reno, who are the ones killing in the north? Who are the ones killing soldiers in the north? You cannot just come out and vomit what you don't know. You cannot just come out and say what you don't know in public. Reno is not a man defending Nigeria's unity. This is a man deepening division with ignorance. Reno Omokri preaches human rights when he suits him. He calls himself a defender of truth. But how can you claim to fight injustice in Nigeria while helping spread the same government propaganda used to crush dissent? He knows that when the world hears terrorist, they stop listening. So he repeats that word over and over again, knowing it makes it easier for authorities to clamp down, to rat homes, to silence people. He's saying this thing now so that international voices will not see to the problem or release Kanu, or he's saying this so that DSS will still keep Kanu there. Like I always say, Omokri don't have, in fact, he doesn't need anybody to tell him to do the right thing. Ever since Kanu has been in detention, no civilian, no soldier has come out to say that Kanu did this or did that. No court has convicted Kanu of any crime. And as far as you know, as a matter of fact, if somebody is accused, if you accuse somebody of something, or else the person is proven guilty, the person is innocent. Reno cannot just claim to fight or fight for freedom and use his platform to legitimize oppression. It makes you part of the same machinery you claim to resist. Reno Omokri's statement about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are more than just talk. They are reckless, irresponsible, and deeply harmful. He does not have the courage to face court with evidence. He does not have the decency to respect due process. He does not carry the burden of the damage his words cause in Igbo land. But real people do. So let this lawsuit stand as a warning to all these careless influencers and bloggers who play with people's life for retweets and headlines. When you will see Reno is in Twitter, that's where you will see him looking for who to defame, looking for what to say. Look at Reno Omokri for what he truly, is this matter. A man who throws wide accusation into the air, but hides when it's time to prove them, when it matters in court. He says Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB are killers. Fine. We have heard. If he truly believes this, why hasn't he walked into any court in Nigeria and given sworn testimony? Why hasn't he submitted a single shred of solid evidence, video, documents, even eyewitnesses' accounts to the judges? Why? Now, to the judges who actually decide who is guilty or innocent, the answer is simply, he has none. He has no evidence. If Reno Omokri had real evidence, he would be retweeting threats. He would be standing in the witness box. He wouldn't be fighting on X. If he has evidence that Kanu is a killer, he will not be on X. He will be in court every time. He will be in that witness box. He wouldn't be fighting on X or Facebook. He will be standing before the court in Abuja to testify that, yes, I have proof Kanu did this, IPOB did that. But he won't, because all he has are baseless words, not facts. And this is the height of cowardice and hypocrisy. He wants to be judge, jury, and executioner for the safety of his phone. But when the same system he's defending calls for real evidence, he disappears. He wants to destroy someone's name, ruin an entire people's reputation, and make IPOB look like bloodthirsty animals. Yes, he won't risk his comfort of credibility to prove it under oath. This is why this lawsuit makes so much. This is why this lawsuit matters so much. He's saying Reno must retract that statement. This lawsuit matters so much. It is calling his bluff. It is saying, if you have proof, bring it. If you don't, shut up and apologize. If you have proof, bring it. If you don't have, you shut up and apologize. So to everyone listening, Reno Omokri does not have a point, because if he did, he will be in court right now, standing in the witness dock, not hiding behind social media clouds. His mouth is big, but his facts are empty. His courage ends where the courtroom door begins. So let this be clear. Real truth does not fear the court. Real evidence does not hide behind Twitter or tweets. And reckless lie dressed up as activism will face consequences. Reno Omokri built his brand claiming to stand for truth and justice. But truth is not a hobby you type about, retweet. It's a responsibility you defend with evidence when it's real, when it really counts. Right now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is standing before a real court, facing real judges under real Nigerian law. If Reno Omokri is sure that Kanu and IPOB killed soldiers, police officers, or anyone else, then the same court is open to him too. The same witness stand is waiting. The same witness stand is waiting for him to come and defend that Kanu killed soldiers. Where is he? He's afraid of taking an oath? Is he afraid of cross-examination? Is he afraid of the lies will crumble when a real judge asks, Mr. Omokri, where is your proof? Instead of doing the honorably things to stand by his words and prove them, he does the coward things. He stays overseas, hide behind a screen and keep throwing words that cost him nothing but could cost real people their freedom and even their lives. It is hypocrisy of the highest order. His lecturers everyone about, he lectures everyone about rule of law. He quotes the Nigerian constitution when it suits him. But when it's time for him to bring receipts, he goes silent. If he had real facts, he would have submitted them to DSS, the Attorney General, and the judges in Abuja, I mean to say, not Twitter threats. If he truly wants justice, he should sit in the witness dock, look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the eye and say, I have the proof. But he won't, because there's no proof. There's only cheap voice. What makes it worse is that Omokri's words do not hurt him. They hurt everyday Igbo people. His casual branding of IPOB as murderers give governments the perfect excuse to clamp down harder on innocent people. Random boys in Aba, Onitsha, Olu get profiled, railed, jailed, or even killed, not because they committed a crime, but because careless people like Reno hand the state the narrative it wants, saying they are terrorists. Meanwhile, Reno sits abroad, cashes on the controversial and type the next hot take for clout. This is exactly why Kanu, filed a lawsuit. It puts a price on reckless talk. It says, if you want to defam, come with your evidence or pay the consequences. If you have the courage to insult a whole people, have the courage to defend your words under oath, in a court. Because real truth does not fear the court. Real facts stand firm under cross-examination. It only lies that fears the witness box. So here's the truth about Reno in this matter. He's loud, but he's empty. He's bold online, but he's silent where it counts. He wants to act as a voice of the oppressed, but his careless mouth straightens the oppressors. He does not protect justice. He poisons it with reckless, unproven claims. So right now, it is time for Reno to come to court, though, because Kanu has dragged him to court, demands 160 naira, in fact 160 billion naira compensation. So it is time. Reno say he has proof. He should come and prove that Kanu is a terrorist. We are waiting for him to come and prove that truly Kanu is a terrorist in court. And if he doesn't, he's going to apologize publicly to Kanu and then pay 60 billion naira to Kanu for compensation. So guys, that's all we have for today. Drop a comment in the comment section. Thank you for joining me in this live session, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night's rest.